Getty Matt O'Connor and Jordan Murphy will attempt to lead Leicester Tigers into a new era. Things came to a head just 2 days into the new year when Richard Cockerell was sacked from his role as director of rugby after a home defeat to Saracens. It brought to an end 23 years as a player and coach, during which time he had made himself a Tigers legend and spent just 2 years away from the club during a 2-year stint at Montferron. It was at Leicester that he met Jordan Murphy, who arrived in England as a teenager and rented his first flat from Cockerell. Having joined in 1997, Murphy has been at the club ever since, making 316 appearances for the side and also winning 72 caps for Ireland. When the fullback finally hung his boots up 5 years ago, he took up a coaching role at Welford Road. He has stayed in his assistant role despite the changes at the top that have seen head coach Aaron Morgan replaced by the returning Matt O'Connor and Cockerell exiting stage left with Toulon gratefully accepting his services. And Murphy admitted it was with a heavy heart that he saw his good mate leave the club. "He still owes me my deposit back," Murphy told Express Sport. Friday, September 1, 2017. Jamie Roberts Harlequins £380,000. It was a tough time. The board made decisions there and then that Cockers was to move on. The nature of the sport is that when you're the head man for a long time, and he effectively had been for 6 or 7 years, that it's difficult to stay. As a mate, I wish it was possible for him to still be involved, but he's gone on and shown how talented he is by getting Toulon to the top 14 final, and Edinburgh have got a very good signing for next season. Getty. Jordan Murphy has been with Leicester Tigers for 20 years in one capacity or another for Leicester. It is a matter of trying to build on the 14 Aviva Premiership wins they had accumulated by the end of last season. Despite reaching the playoffs, it is difficult not to acknowledge that the majority of fans will remember the 201,617 season 4 activities off, not on the field. It was a very tumultuous season. Murphy added, "I've been involved in professional rugby at Leicester for 20 seasons and without a shadow of a doubt, that was the toughest year that I could ever really have imagined. Looking back at pre-season now, it felt like 3 seasons all rolled into one. It had everything in it. We had well-profiled hirings and firings, and that is always a tough time for the players. From a coach point of view, it's just about trying to steady the ship into what's best for the playing group. They will have learned a lot last season, and certainly they've shown how tough and resilient they are. To have coaches sacked and to have lost big games, but then to come out the next week and put in the performances that they didn't, be 1 point away from a Premiership final, shows what sort of talent and fortitude there is in the playing group. That playing group has been strengthened again with George Ford making a high-profile switch from Bath, with Freddie Burns going the other way. Johnny May has also joined from Gloucester along with Tonga's Sione Kalamafoni, who will add his 19 stone to the back of the scrum. Getty. Johnny May has joined Leicester from Gloucester. That added talent makes Leicester a genuine threat at the top of the table, especially when you consider they were just seconds away from an appearance in the final. Josh Bassett's late try for Wasps ended Leicester's season and condemned them to a 2,120 defeat, a bitter pill to swallow after grafting their way into 4th place. "It was painful at the time. It was a tough game," Murphy said. "I thought that we gave it our all and we were very unlucky with the way the result panned out. It's quite weird. I'm sure players who played in that game will probably relive moments for the rest of their lives." Cockerell was always defiant during Leicester's early season struggles, including an inept 380 defeat at the hands of Munster in the European Cup, and remained confident throughout that they would get back into the top 4. Getter. George Ford has rejoined Leicester Tigers after 4 years with Bay. That proved true, although the director of rugby's departure makes it difficult to tell whether that was because of the team he built or in spite of his influence. One thing that is for sure is that the playing personnel remain an impressive set of names and will enjoy playing under former Australia international Matt O'Connor. "When you write down the team Leicester could field, that's a proper team. Ex-England prop and now Channel 5 pundit David Flatman told Express Sport. That's only half the battle, of course. Every single one of the Tigers I spoke to told me that they would love to have Matty O'Connor back, and when he was announced, they were all gutted about losing Aaron Morgan but really pumped about getting Matty in. It's time for Leicester, instead of becoming a dog team that can pull out a big performance and squeeze you up front, I think they've got the players to be a properly threatening side. They've probably got 25 players they could start in any game, so as a rugby fan I want Matt O'Connor to develop their attack and for them to be a really good try-scoring outfit. I think the whole workmanlike thing is a fabulous brand and it's served them well, but I think there's more to them than that." Quite so. A backline that contains George Ford, Manu Tuilagi and Johnny May can hardly be called workmanlike.